guys, it's Nancy here and I'm back with another process video for you, and this is another video using up the remnants of my Amy Tan stash, and I'm also trying to get some more use out of my dies. And I had a few photos of that I had duplicates of, or just bits and pieces left from my American album that I'd either scrapped in some way or another, but I wanted to really use the photos. And I also want to use these as as a filler page. So lots of these photos are, well, I think all of them are, of my boyfriend in America and different places. There's also one of us, and I'm literally just using those dies to place it on the photo to cut out different circle images. And I know, like I said before, it's a little bit old school to do shape photos and stuff, but I'm really enjoying using them just to, get those photos in the album in some way or another, because I've got them printed, so I might as well get them in the album because they do help tell the story. So now I'm just going to work out where I'm going to go with this. As I said, I've got a few full sheets of paper left, but also lots of bits and pieces that I've used, throughout. Probably been working on trying to use up my stash now for probably about a month and a half. So it's really just trying to get rid of the stuff. I love it, but yeah, I'm finding it a little bit annoying to try and use up now. So yeah, just going through here. This paper is from what is that one I don't like? Wow, cut and paste, that's the one, which is what this one's from. And I must say that I am stuck with more of the muted papers now, rather than the brighter ones. But I like where I'm going with this, and so I've just cut out a load of my circle photos, and then I've cut mats out for them. Using this paper. I could have really edited this out, I do apologise. Didn't think about that before doing that. As I've said recently, I've had a few technical issues with my laptop, mainly that I just had so much stuff on my hard drive. My computer was just slowly dying a death, and it's been really, really annoying, because then my hard drive that I have loads of films and stuff and that luckily no photos, also malfunctioned somehow, so it's just been quite stressful. But yes, I'm now coming out of that, so that's good. So here again, I'm using one of these pieces of papers with pre-printed designs, which is really not my favourite. I always struggle to use these, but I thought, okay, this has got this little sunshine up in the corner. This is guy with the American theme that, of sunshine. There was a lot of sunshine in this album. There was also a lot of rain, but there was sunshine and stuff, so I really wanted to use this piece of paper up, and I thought, hey, this is as good a piece as any. So I'm just going to play a little bit around with my photos here. These aren't Amy Tan, but these have been in my stash for a long time. I believe these are Jelly Bean Soup. I've got these in a Scraptastic kit, and I haven't subscribed to Scraptastic now for probably a year. Yeah, probably a year. So yeah, really need to get them used up. Also found these wood veneers, which are little globe wood veneers, and these are also from Scraptastic. And so I thought these are going to be perfect to use on here as well. As you all know, I love this Amy Tan camera stamp, so I'm going to stamp that up on a couple of bits of scrap paper, and I'm going to use this to help build clusters, because some of these photos is a little bit of dead space. So I've got some with a wood veneer and then some with this camera. And I could use this camera on every page because I really, really love it. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here off camera. Oh, I was cutting some of those hearts out. So this is the paper that I had mounted up the photos on. I'm just cutting the hearts out there to make some little embellishments as well. And this is something you see me do lots and lots of times, is where I build little clusters up near photos, especially if I'm doing a layout which is more spaced out. It just connects all the photos in a way that, makes them all look cohesive. and nice. And I said, I really am enjoying doing, you know, making these little clusters up myself and kind of making my own embellishments and stuff. Really kind of just enjoying that look at the moment. And if you've been following my channel for a while and you've seen any of my album flip throughs, especially my mini albums, this is, you know, something I use quite a lot, these kind of small clusters. So I've just cut those cameras out. I also am trying to use my stamps up where possible. There is a little cloud stamp within the stamp sets, and I decided that I am going to use that on this layout just to echo that cloud there at the top. I'm going to ink everything up with black ink just to make it pop, especially because a couple of the photos are quite dark, so it's just going to help add to kind of more graphic feel, especially as those clouds kind of have a sort of hand-drawn look. So I pulled out one of those little doily stamps as well, again from the Amy Tangerine stamp sets, and I'm using that as a layer behind my photo and my little cluster. And so I'm just going to repeat that design for everyone with the little globe. And I really love these globe wood veneers. They're so nice. I can't believe I hadn't used them up. Pretty crazy. So again, just using my wet glue to stick these on here, because that was evidently what I had. Normally I use my ATG, but decided to go with my wet glue. So again, just stamping that up there. It does get a little bit crowded up there, but all in all I think that works quite well. As I said, I have got that title on there. I'm not 100% sure of the placement of it yet, but I kind of know that it's going to fit in that space somewhere. So when I'm sticking my photos down, I'm kind of just bearing that in mind. It's one of those things, I kind of knew the title I wanted to go for, so I knew that I had to leave enough room for it. So I've just stamped that little cloud there, which is going to kind of peek out behind that layer. And again, as I said, it's not a stamp I've used a lot because, I don't know, it's quite tiny. I wouldn't necessarily use it. So I'm quite glad to actually have got some use from it. And I said, I've loved using these Amy Tan stamps. I've loved using my stamps. As you'll know from one of my layouts I put up last week, my cherry pie layout, which, you know, you guys really loved, and I love all the comments and stuff from that. Someone mentioned how, I can't remember the name of the person, but like how it kind of looked quite tattooy, like tattoo effect, and I really kind of like that. I kind of looked at it kind of with a different sort of eye really and thought, yes, no, it kind of does, and I really like that kind of layering up of images. So it's probably something you're going to see again, because, you know, I like to get on a sort of a little kick and just do it over and over again until I get bored of it. Which is fine when I'm kind of doing layouts and stuff from different, to go on different albums and things like that. I'm not too bothered. And as I've mentioned before, this American album is going to have layouts from 2012 till now, so there's going to be a whole mix of styles and papers and stuff in there anyway, so, you know, I kind of give myself freedom to just play about a little bit. So I'm just building these clusters up now, and as you'll see, that little bit of inky stamping in the background just adds a little bit, because I didn't do any misting or anything on here. I didn't add too much you know, background texture to this paper. As you know, normally that's something I like to do, but I do struggle with these pre-printed papers, so just going to be playing about here where to put my title and kind of trying to fit it in the gap here. And again, it's just a title that I'm going to talk about kind of in my journaling. You know, how I was lucky and how he's taken me and, you know, and shown me different places in the world, and it's kind of a little bit of lovey-dovey soppy one. So here I have out my lovely homemade enamelled dots from Sharon. I'm just going to be adding some of those just to bring that little pop of yellow down, because of course I've got the yellow in the title and also that pre-printed yellow. These are just some little sequins I found in my stash from a Studio Calico kit. Don't know how long they've been around, and I'm just pulling out those just to add to the other clusters, just to echo the enamel dots. And again, I do like that repetition of different elements. It's a little bit fiddly to stick them down, but it's well worth it. And I love this wet glue. It's It's, you know, my favourite wet glue. I've got I have brought a little bottle of glossy accents because I do like glossy accents, but it just does clog up all the time. I've seen people talking about these like fine needle tops, and I've got one of them on my masking fluid. So I did think when my masking fluid runs out, I'll just add it onto my glue bottle. So I'm just sticking that down, and I'm kind of feeling like it's still not quite connected enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some stitching. Of course, I have the Amy Tangerine stitching templates, but I'm not actually going to use those. I'm just actually going to hand draw some arrows onto some of these circles, and that's just going to help the layout flow really, and kind of just bring your eye around the layout. So I've just drawn those in with pencil, and I'm taking the little pricking tool that came with all the stencils and everything that I do have, and I've just cut out there because I did really want to show you me sewing them up. So I've just used some grey floss on there, and I really love how this looks. That bottom arrow is a tiny little bit wonky, but I'm just going to kind of go with it. Just going to leave it. And decided to just like add some more wood veneer because of course there wasn't enough stuff on here. And we all know I love a bit of stuff. So I'm just adding some little arrow wood veneers. And I said I'm just going to add that plain onto the arrow that actually was a tiny little bit wonky and looked a bit weird. But with the plain on, it actually looks a lot better. So just trying to find enough arrows that kind of all went together because I wanted them in each of my clusters. And as I've got those larger wood veneer pieces on there, it actually kind of worked quite well. So I'm just going to stick one of these little arrows in each of those clusters. And then that is going to be the layout done. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this more simpler layout for me. And I will talk to you all again soon. Thank you very much. Bye!